opportunity to introduce our dignitaries on the high table. First on my left is our Vice Chairman, Mama Sherry Aite, Dr. Sherry Aite. Our Vice Chairman, who is also the Central Planning Committee Chairman of this event, Honorable Comrade Kofi Addo. Special Advisor to the Speaker of Parliament. Then on my right is Ambassador Anan Eni, former PNDC member and also an astute member of the party, former ambassador as well. Dr. Peter Kwama Otukuno, our Deputy General Secretary. Honorable Namo Molate, our MP for Krowo. Honorable Emmanuel Zumake, our Director of Administration. Ambassador Victor Smith, a former aide of His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings and former ambassador to the UK. Honorable Oko Vanderpoy, our Member of Parliament for Ablekuma South. Mr. Weku Buahin, Deputy National Communications Officer. Nana Ato Dazi, our former Chief of Staff. Anita Disozo, our former National Women's Organizer. Then we also have Agatha Pra, our women organizer for Minnesota in USA, the daughter of the founder of this revolution, the MP for Kole Clote, Dr. Zaneto Ajiman Rawlings. Then we have our General Secretary, the only mosquito in our net, Johnson Asiedu Inketia. We also have the chairman of the party, the chairman and the leader of the party, Comrade Samuel Ofosu Akwafo. Then the last is His Excellency. I said His Excellency. I said His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Right, so we will be introducing more dignitaries on the high table as we go on. So, without much ado, I would invite Dr. Zanato Ajiman Rawlings to deliver her speech.
Your Excellency, former President John Dramani Mahama, National Chairman, Chairman Ofosu, General Secretary, the only mosquito in our net, Vice Chairpersons, Comrade Sherry Aite and Chairman Addo, senior comrades and cadres, distinguished guests on the dais, Nime, Name, Niwolome, members of the NDC, the youth groups, invited ladies and gentlemen, and our friends from the media. It is indeed a privilege for me to stand here on the 40th anniversary of the 31st December Revolution. A revolution, by definition, refers to a distant movement over time, but in a circular fashion. So, in terms of our planet, it takes 365 days for the earth to do one revolution around the sun. Every day, every month, and every year is different. And it's the same with our human existence. Our history, the entire human history, is also a revolution. Because we go through the various phases and we find ourselves coming back to the same point. And whether or not things have changed depends on us, depends on you, and it depends on me. The commemoration of the 40th anniversary of the 31st December Revolution is not so much about that single day as it is about the journey from then till now. It is about what we are doing now as a republic. If today, at every opportunity that we have, we are sounding warnings to the government in power, it is because we have seen these signs before and we recognize the danger on the horizon and we wish to avoid going down the same path that we have seen this country go down before. There is poverty amidst plenty. It's almost as if there are two different worlds in Ghana, where some people don't even know the level of suffering that is going on, and they cannot relate to it. And when they speak as though all is well. And then there's the rest of us, who understand that things are not going as they should in this country. And that after 40 years of a foundation being laid, for us to be at this point is a frightening prospect. Especially when we recognize the fact that on our borders, we have so much going on with violent extremists taking over various nation states. And the underlying cause in most cases is a weakness in governance. When corruption is reaching levels as high as we are seeing here, and we are seeing a breakdown in the structures that keep our democracy alive. For those who know what it took to get to this point, not only is it scary, but it is annoying. Because people lost their lives. They were victims of this revolution in the process of getting to this point. And no life was considered useless in getting to this point. There are children who grew up without their families on both sides of the fight. And so if we're here today, because people have inherited a foundation that was laid and they are playing around with the peace and the stability that we have in this country, we must wake up and we must let them know that we will not allow them to destabilize this hard-won consolidation of our democracy. If today we are commemorating 40 years since the 31st December Revolution, we must also talk about the things that were done, the tangible things that were done. Because principles are abstract and values are abstract unless we can translate them into meaningful things. If today UDS exists because we have electricity going all the way up to our upper regions, if today we have specialists in our various hospitals, some of whom, but for the opportunities under the PNDC, and having the chance to go to Cuba to have their training would not be where they are today. Some of whom are actually members of this government. If today we have made so many gains as a nation, that is part of the legacy of the 40 years. What does it mean to uphold the principles of the revolution? It's very simple. what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. We don't need to sugarcoat it, and we don't need to pretend. The people of Ghana know what's true. And we don't need to lie to get your votes. You know what is true. And I do not believe that the people of Ghana, having experienced what we are going through, will make a mistake of submission again. The Constitution of Ghana, the 1992 Constitution, which has been an inspiration for a lot of countries across this continent, in itself is a testament to the fact that the late Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings was indeed a Democrat at heart. The majority of persons who became appointees and members of parliament when the NDC first took the reins of power in 1993 were cadres, were people who served under the PMDC. And so if today people are saying that the PMDC was a military dictatorship, they should look in the mirror. Because the majority of people who carried the PMDC into constitutional rule by the 1992 Constitution were civilians, were cadres, were ordinary Ghanaians like you and like me. Participatory democracy is not an abstract concept. If we look at our local governance system, our assembly members, our unit committee members, all of them, that is part of the legacy of the 40 years of the PNDC. And none of that was by chance. All of that was done with a vision of making this country a better nation, a more prosperous nation, a just nation, and one with equal opportunities for all Ghanaians, not just some. And to make sure that the foundations laid preserved our resources for future generations, not to be squandered away by some who consider themselves the rightful owners and leaders of this country. This country does not belong to a few people. It is for all of us, all 30+ million of us. If today people are standing on the foundations built to go and make speeches on international platforms about how well Ghana is doing, they should thank those who came before them. Our history was turbulent. But if we look at where we are today, we have to be able to understand that in spite of the difficulties we faced, we are here because there was a vision to make this country better. Now it is our turn. What are we doing to make Ghana better? Are we going to sit down and say that because this is constitutional rule, anything goes? We must understand our rights and responsibilities as Ghanaians. And we must let those who think that they know the book understand that we understand the practicalities of democracy and how it is practiced. Those who refuse to participate in the drafting of our constitution, who today feel that they are the experts on constitutional rule, should come back and ask us how it's done. Because clearly they don't understand. Fellow comrades, the frustration and the anger and the sadness that we feel as a youthful population in this country, watching those who are older than us, who have had so many opportunities, squander away the wealth of this nation that we should inherit and build upon, is heartbreaking. We must not sit down and allow people to bamboozle us by reading parts of the Constitution out of context because they feel that is how they will get what they want. Let us educate ourselves on the basics of what this is about. What is the essence of democracy except to ensure that there is justice, that there is fairness, that there is equity for all? Anybody who uses our constitution to undermine this does not deserve to rule this nation. Let us guide ourselves. Winning an election in 2024 is not about waiting till the last minute. It starts today. Let us mobilize, let us create awareness, and let us remember, it is only by showing courage in the times of adversity that we shall overcome. So if we stand here and we sing about how the revolution has come to stay, we must show that we have courage in our hearts to stand up, because when you stand up for what is right, those who are in the wrong cannot overcome you. So we must show courage, we must show bravery, we must also honor those who have done some for us. To not do our part is to betray the sacrifices of all those who came before us. And so today, I urge all of us to renew that flame in our hearts, that patriotism that makes us want to create something better for this country. That is not about only ourselves, but about future generations. Knowing that we are planting a seed that will grow into a tree whose shade we may not necessarily be resting under, but knowing that we are doing something for the future generations. I thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Honorable Johnson Asiedu Iketia.
Your Excellency, for the sake of time, let me also stand on the protocols earlier established by the first speakers and proceed straight to give some brief remarks. For those of you who think that I'm going to give a fiery revolutionary speech today, you may feel disappointed. I just don't want to dilute the very excellent presentations that have been made by Comrade Senator and Nilante Vanderpoy. I'll dedicate just 5 minutes to correcting some bits and pieces of misinformation that is doing the rounds, and that is preventing this nation from finding solutions to the current impasse in Parliament. Those who have been following what is happening in Parliament, if you have the eyes to see, you realize that things are not going on well at all. And what is happening there is threatening the very foundations of our democracy. To make matters worse, those who get up and want to contribute towards the solutions are themselves using wrong pieces of information to do their analysis, and so therefore they are arriving at wrong conclusions. And you and I know that if you have headache and you go and take medication for diarrhea, you cannot solve that headache. This problem started on 7th of January this year, after Alban Bagben had been elected Speaker of Parliament amid some controversy. NPP leadership came to Parliament, met the two sides of Parliament, and pleaded with NDC to allow them to select the first Deputy Speaker. Nilantin, what is he? Am I lying? They actually came and begged us to allow them to select a first Deputy Speaker. The reason being that they will be in government and the first Deputy Speaker will be chairing appointments committee. And they are very scared that if that appointment committee is chaired by a member of NDC, they may have problems. We insisted that let's go and vote. If you win first Deputy Speaker, we will take second Deputy Speaker. They persisted in begging and begging and begging. And in the end, word was sent from the presidency that they are also begging that visiting heads of states are waiting to swear in our president. So they are appealing to our democratic instincts, our nationalistic instincts, to allow some consensus to emerge as to how we select first and second deputy speakers. We agreed and said, you take the first deputy speaker, we will take the second deputy speaker. Immediately we agreed. They came back asking that we should allow the independent candidate to also take the second deputy speaker. We told them this independent candidate is an MPP person, and we should not allow the two positions to come from the same party. It is black and white in the constitution. Still they persisted and virtually begged us that we don't want to disgrace Ghana, and that even as we were negotiating, there was no precedent. So anything at all will happen to our republic. NDC does not want this republic destroyed. So we agreed. Immediately we agreed. The first statement coming from the mouth of the Osage Mensabunsu after the swearing in was that we begged them and that there was no voting in Parliament to elect a Speaker of Parliament, and that they agreed to make Bagbe the Speaker of Parliament, and that in 2 weeks' time Bagbe will be removed. Listen carefully, those of you who are accusing NDC of not being interested in negotiations, listen carefully. As if that was not enough, immediately the second deputy speaker also addressed the press and declared his support for the MPP. So what does it mean? They have used trickery to take the two deputy speakers. And we say, fine, you take it, we'll meet you somewhere. Then they took the two. Now the position we have in Parliament, the situation we have in Parliament is that anybody presiding over proceedings cannot vote. So anytime Speaker Bagbe is absent, it is one of their 138 who should preside. And if one of them presides, then we are 137 against 137. And the law in Parliament is that when there is a split, then that motion is lost. So any day that Bagbe is absent, so choose, MPP can never win any motion on the floor of Parliament. What is happening in Parliament now? Have you heard any NDC MP saying that they won't allow MPP people to vote for the e-levy? We haven't said that. What we are saying is that we are against e-levy. So none of our MPs will vote in support of e-levy. You claim you are a majority. Use your majority to pass your e-levy and proceed to implement it. But you see, they want to eat their cake and have it. You want to win, and you don't have the numbers to win, and you are not modest enough to talk to our members of Parliament. And even if you choose to talk, you have displayed so much bad faith. Just the example I have enumerated. You have displayed so much bad faith that no MP in NDC now trusts the leadership of MPP in Parliament. So anybody in government who is interested in doing something about this problem must investigate the causes of the problem first. You wanted 2 deputies, we have given them to you. If you don't want them any longer, and you want to reduce your the NDC numbers, let the first deputy speaker resign. We will be pleased to take that position up, and then anytime the first deputy is presiding, you have your 137 and we will have 136, and then we can make progress. You don't want any of the deputies to resign. You want the person to enjoy the power and privileges of deputy speaker and yet descend there to participate in voting. That is not on. So please, the blame game that is happening, that NDC is the cause of the problem. I want to use this platform to state categorically that the problem has nothing to do with NDC. We are merely exercising our democratic rights. And we are not preventing them to exercise their democratic right as well. So they should proceed to exercise their own democratic rights. But what we hate and will not allow to happen is the subversion of the laws and constitution of this country just to make sure MPP gets what they want. Those who are scared about what is happening in Parliament, they should have been scared when the same thing was happening in the district assemblies, when the DCs were being approved. What happened in Parliament happened in all the districts throughout Ghana. Didn't it happen? And if you are comfortable with that, why do you think that it will not grow? If people did not resist at the district assembly level, we are now ready to resist. Because we believe that whenever impunity becomes law, resistance becomes a duty. And so anybody who is interested in the sustenance of this constitution, you are bound by our national anthem to resist when the constitution is being subverted. And that is why our MPs are resisting. Those who are scared about the methods of resistance, the solution is not to be blaming the victim. what is happening in Parliament today will be chicken feed. Bigger things will happen. And it will continue to happen until everybody learns that we are all committed to defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. And so long as they don't stop subverting the Constitution, we will continue using every legitimate means. In this particular occasion, those who are accusing NDC MPs or other MPs of fighting in Parliament, how many of them have suggested any better means of preventing the subversion of the Constitution? What other alternative have they put forward? The person said that I am the referee, I have awarded penalty, and I am the person who is going to kick and score. And when he scores, then it becomes a goal. Then you have lost. Would you allow such a person to go, the referee to go and kick the ball into the goalpost? We will not. And if it means the use of force to prevent the wrong things from happening, we are prepared to continue, because our leaders chose to apply the law. When the speaker, the deputy speaker, did the wrong thing, they used the law to appeal against his ruling. In Parliament, he has to take the decision whether he will allow the appeal, and he rejected the appeal. So there is no other option. So those who are interested in peace, tell the perpetrators to stop, otherwise the reaction will continue. Thank you very much, and may God bless our home.
Thank you very much. The general has spoken. Ladies and gentlemen, let us be on our feet as we invite and welcome His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oyo Shikota. I remember when we were kids and you go and buy knockout, we used to call it knockout. After you finish blasting it, it's all Yoshi Kreta. I've not been feeling too well. I think there's something in the weather that is affecting all of us. So I don't intend to speak for long. Later in the week, there is an opportunity coming where I will speak about 31st December revolution in a more comprehensive manner. And so today I'll just say thank you to the planning committee. Minto Madam Ofia Moshi, our planning committee ni Mekani Chumofe Wandanyeshi, Bikabi Niba Fe Parade, Kemeni Fe Ridley Nefe Nefe Wadanyeshi. I want to thank all of you for this beautiful ceremony. Last year we celebrated the 39th anniversary of the 31st December Revolution, and it was the first time that we celebrated in the absence of our charismatic chairman of the PMDC. And this year is the 40th anniversary, and again for the second time we are celebrating without our bold, courageous leader of the revolution. It brings it forcefully to us that he is gone to join our ancestors, and we remember all of them and celebrate them for the work they did in bringing about the events of 31st December. It is a paradox that 31st December ended the Third Republic, but at the same time it also midwifed the birth of the Fourth Republic. And so it took away the Third Republic, but gave us a more enduring Fourth Republic. That has been the longest lasting republic in the history of Ghana. It was the foundation that was laid by the 31st December Revolution that has made this republic, the Fourth Republic, the longest lasting in the history of Ghana, guided by the 1992 Constitution. And we remember how the 1992 Constitution was drawn up. It was a consultative assembly, and people were drawn from all walks of life: butchers, tailors, GPRTU, drivers, teachers, nurses, doctors. Everybody was invited to come and join to draw a constitution. It is instructive that some of the professional bodies like the Ghana Bar Association refused to participate because they didn't see why they should go and sit to draw a constitution with butchers and tailors and dressmakers. And yet today, that constitution that was drawn by the ordinary people of this country is the best constitution that Ghana has ever had in its history. So on this day, we salute all those who participated in these events that eventually led to the Fourth Republic. We started the Fourth Republic with a lot of hope that with the advent of democracy, the foundation that had been laid by the PNDC, we'll be able to build on it and be able to provide social justice and equity to all our people. Many years on, if you look at the events that we currently find our country in, a lot of people, especially the young people, are losing faith in our democracy. And we can't let this happen. Let us keep hope alive. I believe that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Leadership is about responsibility. If you are elected a leader, you take responsibility. It is a poor leader who says, "It's not my fault." You were not elected to shift blame and refuse responsibility. We had power crisis in this country, doomso, because of lack of investment in generation for many years. And so we were consuming more power than we were producing. And that was the situation I met. And yet I did not say, "It's not my fault." I went to Parliament and I said, "I take responsibility for it and I will fix it." And we fixed it. Today somebody says, "I inherited a weak economy." 5 years on, you cannot take responsibility, and it's still about Mahama and NDC and Mahama and NDC and Mahama and NDC. If you can't do the job, just give way and let the NDC come and do it for you. So let me salute also our members of Parliament and also salute the Right Honorable Speaker for continuing to stand for our Constitution and for our democracy. We support them in doing the right thing. And we're proud that they are standing for the right thing to be done. I've been a member of parliament before, and I've never seen a situation where a presiding officer will preside over a vote and then ask to hand over to another presiding officer so that he too can go and vote. It never happened. It undermines our constitution. Our constitution says if you are presiding, you shall not have a vote. And they better get used to the fact that they no longer have 169 members of parliament. In the past, where it was a rubber stamp, they could ride roughshod over the people of this country. This parliament does not allow that to happen. Our people, in their wisdom, gave us a hanged parliament. Indeed, if some arm twisting did not take place, for the first time in our history, we would have had one party holding the executive and another party controlling parliament. NDC would have had the majority of almost 142 to 143 seats in this parliament. But of course, we know what happened in Techiman South and several other constituencies where presiding officers were influenced or compelled or coerced to announce constituencies for the NPP. And that is what has brought us to 137, 137. But it's my hope that when cases like Techiman South are heard, the injustice that was done will be righted. And if it is righted, it will bring NDC to 138 seats and make NDC the majority in parliament. And so, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I'll have the opportunity again later this week to speak about 31st December. And so there's a lot that I'll say then. But let me thank everybody for coming. Let me thank our chiefs who have come in their numbers to support us. We really wish to thank you. Let me thank our cadres. Let me thank Ablikuma's Central Constituency for hosting this year's parade. Your support has been enormous. And let me thank the Central Planning Committee and its chairman, Kofi Addo, and all your members for this beautiful event we've had today. Thank you very much, and God richly bless all of you.
Hi, mommy.
Hi, hello.
I'm Emerald. You?
I'm Mariam Yahya.
Okay. Please, we want to know your relationship with the late His Excellency J.J. Rawlings.
In fact, I was like the last baby because I was there with him. I've been there with him for 15 years. And in fact, he has been a role model. And then, like an angel, I call him Small Jesus because he accepts all kind of people in his life, whether rich or poor, but he likes to deal with the poor ones. Keep on helping people. That is his desire, to help people at least with their problems to get relief. But in fact, today is a day that we miss him so much. I don't want to cry.
Jesse Adams.
Okay, we want you to, tell us something more about this celebration. What's the foundation of this celebration?
It's the 40th anniversary. That is of the 31st December Revolution. That is when things were being set right in this country.
I'm Emerald. You?
I'm Jemima Anita Disos.
Wow, nice meeting you.
You are welcome, my dear.
We want you to tell us something more about this celebration. What is the foundation of this celebration?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. It all started in 1979 when my father, my only father, that's the father J.J. Rawlings, took over this country. And I hope and I pray that people will understand why the revolution came. Even to get a food to eat was a problem. Even to get a soap to bath was a problem. But he stood firm. He was arrested. They removed his nails, but he stood firm. And after that, 1992, we had a democracy. So I can say that through him, Ghana is free now. So we are celebrating the 40th anniversary. It's not easy. In all things, you have to thank God. You start with difficulty, but at the end of the day, we became the winners.